Wasn't that wonderful music?
I love that music.
I do too.
And we have to say good morning to all the boys and girls out there. Good morning, friends.
Good morning. It's good to see all of you.
We're glad you're joining us today for our Bible story again.
That's right.
And our Bible story is going to be called Jesus Helps in a Storm. And it's from the book of Mark, chapter 4, verses 35 to 41. And it's going to be from the
New Testament.
The New Testament.
Miss Polly, what's this story about?
It's going to be about Jesus and his disciples. And they are out in a boat on the sea, obviously. And a horrible storm comes.
Oh, no.
And it gets worse and worse and worse. And the disciples get so afraid.
No.
They get so afraid. And something special happens, though. And that's what we're going to learn about.
Okay, all right. I'm excited to hear about this.
And Miss Nancy, before we start, can you remind us what a disciple is?
I remember. A disciple is a person who serves others and follows Jesus's teaching.
Okay.
And you know what, Miss Polly?
What, Miss Nancy?
Jesus had 12 disciples, and they followed him, and they served others.
So that means we could be disciples too?
Well, sure, because we serve others by helping others, by doing good things for others,
okay.
and we follow Jesus' teaching.
So everybody could be a disciple then?
Everybody could be disciples.
Well, let's get started with our story.
Okay, all right.
Oh, before we start, Miss Ann is helping us again today.
Yeah.
And she's going to show the picture that Miss Nancy colored.
Okay.
And this is the picture that the boys and girls can download at home.
From the web.
And they can color it this afternoon.
That's right.
So you're going to see the picture that Miss Nancy colored in a little bit after we start the story.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
So here we go.
Okay.
It was a beautiful evening. Jesus had finished teaching for the day and he felt very tired. It was time to relax.
Let's sail across to the other side of the lake,
suggested Jesus.
It's time to leave the crowds behind for a while so we can rest.
Jesus and the disciples climbed into a boat and got ready to sail. The weather was good. A nice breeze filled the sail and pushed the boat along. Jesus went to the back of the boat, put his head on a pillow, and fell fast asleep. All of a sudden, the weather changed. A fierce storm blew up and battered the boat. Whoosh went the wind. Crash went the waves. Lightning flashed across the sky and thunder roared. The waves grew bigger and bigger. The little boat started rolling from side to side. The disciples thought the storm would pass by, but it just got worse. The wind roared harder and the waves got bigger. Water from the waves splashed into the boat. Jesus and his disciples were terrified. They called out to Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, wake up, they shouted. Can't you see we're going to sink? Don't you care what happens to us? Jesus woke up. He looked at the storm. He looked at the waves. He felt the strong wind. He stood up and spoke to the wind and said, "Be quiet," he commanded. Immediately, the wind stopped blowing. The rain stopped falling. The waves stopped splashing. Everything became quiet and still, just like that. Jesus turned to his disciples and asked, "Why were you so scared? Haven't you learned to trust God? Be at peace." The disciples were amazed and said to one another, "Did you see that? Even the wind and the waves obey him." It was a good story, Miss Nancy.
That was a really good story.
Now, what's the main thing we should remember from that story?
I think that it is that we should trust God to always take care of us, and that we know that he'll always be with us.
So anything that happens to us, we can say a prayer to God. We can call out God's name and say, "Help us, be with us."
And he's always going to
And we
help.
will feel him doing that.
And he's always going to take care of us. He is.
Now, you know, Miss Nancy, I like to write songs.
I know you do.
So I have a song called Jesus Calms the Sea.
Really?
Yeah, and it's to the tune of The Bear Went Over the Mountain.
I know that
The
tune.
bear went over the mountain, the bear went, okay? Let's
Okay.
sing that song.
Okay, we're going to sing it. Okay.
Let's try.
All right.
We may not sound very good, but we'll try.
We'll try our best.
There was a great big storm. There was a great big storm. There was a great big storm. The disciples were so afraid. Jesus was sleeping soundly. Jesus was sleeping soundly. Jesus was sleeping soundly. The storm did not bother him. The disciples told Jesus to wake up. The disciples told Jesus to wake up. The disciples told Jesus to wake up. They were so afraid. Jesus calmed the storm. Jesus calmed the storm. Jesus calmed the storm. He said, trust and obey. Now, boys and girls, this afternoon, will you get on the computer and get your picture downloaded so you can color this at home with your mommy and daddy and whoever else you want to? And remember,
Jesus, we should always trust God to take care of us and know that He'll always be with us. Huh?
bye, boys and
See
girls.
you next week.
See you later.
Bye.